A Conversation with a Cat. It's by Hilaire Barloc. Has many different names like Joseph Hilaire Pierre René Barloc, also known as Old Thunder. Born July 27th, 1870, so sort of think um, after the Civil War, if he's in America, to July 26th, 1953, so after World War II. Sort of he lived during that huge time of invention of the car, the utilization of electricity. He lived during that era. Most likely he fought in World War One. The other day I went into a bar of a railroad station and, taking a glass of beer, I sat down at a little table by myself to meditate upon the necessity but tragic isolation of the human soul. I began my meditation by consoling myself with the truth that something in common runs through all nature. But I went on to consider that this cut no wise, and that the heart needed something more. I might, by long research, have discovered some third term, a little less hackneyed than these two, when fate, or some fostering star, sent me a tawny, silky, long-haired cat. If it be true that nations have the cats they deserve, then the English people deserve well in cats, for there are none so prosperous or so friendly in the world. But even for an English cat, this cat was exceptionally friendly and fine, especially friendly. It leapt at one graceful bound onto my lap. Nestled there, it put out an engaging right front paw to touch my arm with a pretty timidity by the way of introduction, rolled up at me an eye of bright but innocent affection, and then smiled a secret smile of approval. No cat could be so timid after such an approach as not to make some matter of response. So did I. And I even took the liberty of stroking Amarantha, for by that name I did receive this vision. And though I began this gesture in a respectful fashion, after the best models of polite deportment with strangers, I was soon lending in some warmth. For if I was touched to find that I had a friend, yes, even here, at the ends of the tubes on SW99, I proceeded, as if right, from caress to speech, and then said, "Amathea, my most beautiful of cats, why have you designed to single me out in such much favor? Why did you recognize me, a friend to all that breathless? Or were you yourself suffering from some loneliness? Though I take it you are near your own dear home. Or is there some pity in the hearts of animals, as there is in the hearts of some humans? What, then, was your motive? Or am I, indeed, foolish to ask, and not rather to take whatever good comes to me in whatsoever way from the gods?" To these questions Amathea answered with a loud purring nose, expressing with closed eyes of ecstasy her delight in the encounter. "I am more than flattered, Amathea," I said, by way of answer. "I am consoled. I do not know that there was in the world anything breathing and moving, let alone so tawny perfect, who would give companionship for its own sake and seek out, through deep feeling, some one companion out of all the living kind. If you do not address me in words, I know the reason, and I commend it, for in words lie the seeds of all dissension, and love, at its utmost profound, is silent. At least I read that in a book. Yes, Amathea, only the other day, but I confess the book told me nothing about the gestures which are better than words, or that the caress which I continue to bestow upon you with all the gratitude of my poor heart." To this Amathea made a slight gesture of acknowledgment. not disdainful, wagging her head a little, and then settling down in a deep content. Oh, beautiful-haired Amethea, many have praised you before you found me to praise you, and many will praise you, some in their own tongue, when I am no longer held in the bonds of your presence. But none will praise you more sincerely, for there is not a man living who knows better than I the 4 charms of a cat lie in its closed eyes, its long and lovely hair, its silence, and even its affected love. But at the word affected, Amethea raised her head, looked up at me tenderly, once more put forth her paw to touch my arm, and then settled down again to a purring beatitude. You are secure, I said sadly. Mortality is not before you. There your complacency, nor foreknowledge of death, nor even separation. And for that reason, cat, I welcome you the more. For if there has been given to your kind this repose in common living, why then we men may find it to be so following your example and not considering too much of that may come, and not remembering too much what has been and will never return. Also I thank you for this, Amethea, my sweet, he's referencing this person, Yo Ploctamos, for I was becoming a little familiar with an acquaintance of the full 5 minutes from the absence of all, here's a really crazy long word, recalcitrance, that you have reminded me of my youth, and in a sort of shadowy way, a momentary way, have restored me to it. For there is an age, a blessed age, oh my cat, even with the miserable race of men, when all things are constant with the life of the body, when sleep is regular and long and deep, when amenities are either unknown or the subject for rejoicing, when the whole world is being lapped up in hope, as you are now lapped on my lap. Amethea, yes, we, the doomed race, know peace. But whereas you possess it from a kind kittenhood to the last dark day so mercifully short with you, we grasp it only for a little while. But I would not sadden you by the mortal plaint. That would be treason indeed, and vile return of your goodness. What? When you have chosen me out of 7 London millions upon whom to confer the tender solace of my heart, when you have proclaimed yourself so suddenly to be my dear, shall I introduce you to the sufferings of those whom you know nothing to save that they feed you, house you, and pass you by? At least you do not take up for gods, as do the dogs, and more I am humbly beholden to you for this little service of recognition, and something more. Amethea slowly raised herself upon her 4 feet, arched her back, yawned, and looked up at me with a smile sweeter than ever, and then went round and round, preparing for herself the new couch upon my coat, wherein she settled and begun once more to purr in a settled ecstasy. Already I made sure that the rooted and an anchored affection had come to me out of the emptiness and nothingness of the world, and was to feed my soul henceforth. Already I had changed the mood of long years, and felt a conversation towards the life of things, an appreciation, a cousinship with the created light, and all that through one link of loving kindness, when whatsoever it is that dashes the cup of bliss from the lips of the mortal man, Tupor, up and dashed it good and hard. It was the ancient enemy who put the fatal sentence into my heart. For we are the playthings of the greater powers, and surely some of them are evil. There's a little note here, and it says that there's a limit to enjoyment, though the sources of wealth be boundless, and the choicest pleasures a little lie within the ring of moderation. That was Martin Falquer Tupper's. It was a proverbial philosophy. So essentially that there's enjoyment, but that there needs to be within a ring of moderation. There's also an image here, and it's supposed to be Eve and the Snake by Max Klinger. And I believe that's the end of that